Hello, welcome back to Ahead of the Game. Ryan Tucker, Jeremy Duck, Sports Pez Jez, Tuck Sport Takes in the flesh
Yeah,
today.
in a studio today. We've got a makeshift studio instead of our makeshift studios at home. Doing
Exactly.
things a little bit different. Nice. It feels so weird to sit and chat like this instead of looking into the screen, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we spent the better part of 2 hours trying to figure
Yeah,
out
lunch
lighting
in the
and
middle.
cameras, and it still looks disgusting. But
Yeah,
it's part of learning how to do this stuff, isn't it? It's good
yeah,
fun.
yeah. It's good.
All the gear and no idea.
Yeah. I've never heard that before.
Really?
No, never.
It's all like the middle-aged dads like us that
There you go.
all the like
See-
golfers playing the big drivers and
Of
all the
course,
gear,
of
no
course.
idea.
That we are.
That we are.
That we are.
Today,
Mm,
NBL Semi-Finals, 2 game 1s in the bag.
mm.
Lots to talk about, especially for the Melbourne and Perth series,
Yep.
which we'll get into first. Chris Goulding.
Yeah, I was way off there.
Uh,
Way off.
but then we'll touch it as well on the Hawks and South East Melbourne.
Mm.
We look at the ICC Trophy, Australia and Afghanistan
Mm.
currently playing,
Yeah.
and we'll see what the Aussie chances are of getting a victory there
Mm.
after Afghanistan beat England
Mm.
in some pretty amazing circumstances the other day.
Yeah.
And then
Kelce.
Kelce commits.
Mm.
I love it.
Yeah.
Kelce commits.
It was the
So Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs.
That's
All right. Oh,
alliteration.
good. There you go. You got it. You're on fire, mate.
On fire.
On fire.
All right, let's get into semi-finals.
Yeah.
Perth and Melbourne matched up. Perth went over to Melbourne. They were the underdogs, but you kind of thought that they had a chance with their scoring to be
Mm.
able to match it with United.
Yeah.
But it didn't eventuate.
No.
What's your kind of reflection on the game?
Yeah. Well, I just thought that Perth were going to be way too powerful offensively for Melbourne. I didn't think Melbourne would have enough. Like Perth always sort of concede a lot of points, but I still thought that Perth would score more, and it just didn't really happen. I think the biggest take that I got out of it was really that the different usage of Bryce Cotton and Chris Goulding, and the differences between those two teams and their tactics of getting shots off and getting their guys open, and also like what Melbourne did well was work for Goulding
Mm,
and make sure that he was getting a half decent look, where that just didn't happen really for Perth. And then it's also the difference in defense,
mm,
because Melbourne United, maybe not this year, they didn't seem to be as strong defensively this year as they were at least last year. Um, but in this final, and even sort of leading up to it, to be fair, they got better. They started to focus a little bit more on their defensive strategies, and they were just able to shut down Cotton, and more so Perth weren't able to do the same thing for Goulding,
mm.
because they just sort of fell off their screens. They took the wrong options instead of going under or over. So Goulding just got free.
Mm.
And if that's player ability or if it's coaching, that's a whole nother story. But that was the difference between the two. Bryce Cotton, I think, took 12, 13 shots, and Goulding took 20.
Mm.
So, and Goulding sank 10 threes, but at a lower percentage, where Cotton, I think, went 4 from 5.
Mm.
So that was the difference. It was always going to be about perimeter shooting, or it was going to play a big part in it. But it just didn't seem to eventuate for Perth, and they scored their lowest score they've scored in, like, I think 10 games.
Mm.
So I think that's the biggest difference.
Yeah, I mean, we had a bit of a chat with Josh from the Basketball Fix
Mm.
about Perth's
The other
uh,
west,
exactly
a little bit further west than west.
about the defensive strategies of keeping Goulding in check, and
Mm.
and I'm the kind of defensive mind that says, okay, if he's the guy that's bringing the momentum for Melbourne United and he's the
Mm.
one sinking those threes in clutch moments, you shut him down
Mm.
and you make everybody else on that team beat you, whether
Yeah.
it's Rob Lowe or whether it's Delhi
Yeah.
or you're forcing Shea Illy to handle the ball.
Yeah.
Do that, because time after time, Chris Goulding is the guy that gets his team moving, gets them scoring,
Yeah.
and shuts down the opposition momentum with his dagger
Mm.
like shots.
Yeah.
And I just could not understand watching the game. Even
Yeah.
the commentators, like Damon Lowry, they come out of that timeout where I think he hit his third in a row, and he said, there is no other person on earth that is going to get the ball and have a shot now than Chris Goulding. And everyone knew it except the Perth defense.
Yeah.
Well, they probably knew it, but they didn't do anything. And everyone's, oh, Windler was checked on the screen and he couldn't get around, and Aquera was too long.
Yeah, who
But
cares?
don't let it get there.
Yeah, that's right.
Stop him before he gets there, or
Yeah.
double team him, triple team him. You
Yeah.
know he's getting the ball.
Yeah.
You know he's taking the shot, and you know he's going to get it.
Yeah.
That's Chris Goulding.
Yeah.
Don't.
Like, isn't it better, like, to be shutting down Goulding, whatever you've got to do? If you've got to give up an easy 2-point play, it's better to give up that than to give up a Goulding who's hot and give him a chance to drop a 3, because all of these extra 3s that he's dropping obviously counts up at the end, and you're better off sending it to somebody else that's got a chance to score 2 instead of Goulding sinking just repetitive 3s.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's just to shift the momentum as well, because if you're not going to be maybe doing that the whole game, but in that moment where he's got the momentum and he's trying to put the team on his back, that's where you need to stop him. And okay, let Rob Lowe get an almost open basket under the rim, because the team isn't getting around, and Rob Lowe seeing a ball go through the basket isn't the same as seeing Chris Goulding shoot a dagger from 3, or 2 feet behind the 3-point line. It's just insane. And this is something that I've been on all season long about Perth, their defensive strategies and their inability to adjust on the fly. It's coming home to roost.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was completely wrong, because I said Perth were going to win 2-0. So I'm already eating my words. But Illawarra got up. They're my only hope. If I go 50-50, that's all right, because if Illawarra go 2-0 and Perth fall to 0-2, who cares? It's
Evens out.
50%. 50%. I can be a 50%. That's all right.
50% is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Illawarra. I went 4 from 4 in that game. Just want to say that. Head over to bets.com.au, check out the game previews. We probably won't hit another one for the whole rest of the series, but 4 from 4 in the first game.
Yeah.
Love it. Taking that.
Absolutely.
But Illawarra came out firing in the first quarter. I think
like you said,
31 points. South East Melbourne also there the whole game. I think it was 31-27 in the first quarter. They went into half time. They were close.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a battle the whole way. Even when Illawarra were up by 10, you never thought that South East Melbourne were out of the game.
Yeah. But I'm going to take my claim to fame there, because I was saying that they were no chance in this series, because they died in the arse in 2 halves in the 2 games before that in the play-in, and they scored 12 points in the third quarter. So if that's up to Illawarra or it's up to South East Melbourne, you can't score 12 points in a finals game in a quarter and expect to win, because they did win the fourth quarter in the end, but Illawarra gave up. They had not gave up, but they played the smart basketball and just protected the lead. Exactly. Yeah. So they can't do that, and that's been their problem. They just fall apart. If it's this game, it was 1 quarter. Those games, it was 2 quarters. Yeah, that's where I see the difference, especially against Illawarra, because they're so deep.
That's what we spoke about. That, like, when we're watching the game, that you said to me, like, who's scoring the most? And I said, well, they're all scoring.
Yeah.
Blanchfield was on 14 points, like with 6 minutes to go in the game, and both Trey Kell and Tyler Harvey and Froling had his points. Lockie Olbrich had his points.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You can't. They're so deep, and anybody can score. Their bench can score. If Trey Kell or Harvey's not scoring, then all of a sudden you see a lot more of Hickey offensively instead of Hickey usually coming on and playing a really, really important role defensively. He comes on and starts taking a few more shots, and if he gets hot, then he starts to score. So yeah, they're going to be a really tough beat. Like, whoever even wins out of Melbourne and Perth in the end, it's a tough beat, Illawarra.
Well, I don't know if Illawarra lose because of another team being better. I reckon they lose because they were bad. Whether it's a bad shooting night or they were lacking in defensive intensity, that's what's going to be their downfall. They won't lose because another team has come out and just outplayed them. I don't think that's happening in this space for Illawarra. They're so honed in to each other, to the game, to the situation, that it's gonna be that they've gone 29% from 3.
Yeah, but that's the joys of a 5-game series. If they get through past the South East Melbourne in the next game or the next 2, and then they go into a 5-game series, you don't see them playing bad for 3 games
No.
of 5 in a 5-game series, and that's the joys, and that's how it should be instead of having like say. That's the call of having a 1-game grand final or having this type of series because look at sort of the poor old Sydney Swans in their last 2 grand finals have just fallen apart in the moment and have just been getting pumped. But they're really in both of those instances the best team in that game, but just can't get it right on the day, and then your whole season disappears in almost like one quarter for them because they've just been pumped. But
so bad.
It's horrible for them. But obviously can't play a 5-game series in such a physical sport in such a short period of time. But when it comes to Illawarra, they're going to be. That's what makes them obviously the heavy championship favourites.
We'll revisit that early next week.
Yeah.
Game 2 for both series will be in the books.
Yeah.
And we have a break. I think Monday they have a break, and the games are Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, if they go to 3.
Yeah. Exciting. Let's take a quick break. Come back, talk some cricket. Okay, it is the ICC Champions Trophy, and Afghanistan beat England in just some thrilling cricket the other day. I didn't watch the game; I just watched the last ball.
It was a thriller. It was an absolute thriller.
But there was a lot of talk about the conditions changing throughout the game that were to England's detriment. I didn't research it. Do you know anything about that?
No, not really at all. But I don't think it matters. I think all that matters is Afghanistan beat England 2nd time in a row in a major tournament. It raises really, really big questions about England because their international cricket has been pretty rough of late, and they made some changes heading into this Champions Trophy since the World Cup and sort of bowing out early there, and they haven't really worked. So they need to have a good hard look at themselves, England, and sort it out because I don't know, it's no fun being Australia and England aren't any good to play. So it's going to make the Ashes really boring and all the series that we play. Even New Zealand goes over to England and washes them out. So
you almost feel bad putting shit on them when they're being so bad.
Yeah, well, not really, because I don't ever really feel bad putting shit on England. To be honest, I don't know why. I would rather to put shit on England than put shit on New Zealand. I sort of see New Zealand in the sports that we're better at, anything besides rugby union. You feel like they're our little brother, and you know we want to beat them, but you still like them.
Yeah, you still want some healthy competition,
but not England. No, never really. I'll happily smash England every time we play them and put shit on them.
Does that come from the?
So Gary, if you're listening, just remember, take that in, Gaz.
Remember the we went to the Formula One at Silverstone, and it was the Euro qualifiers. Was it the Euros or the qualifiers?
No, it was the Euros. It was like quarterfinals.
And Euros. It was the constant football's coming home. That was the first tournament where football's coming home. And they were so arrogant.
Yeah.
And from then, I'm also like you. I'm half English.
Yeah, but you were sitting. They put up the Euro game, Sweden versus England, and you were up on the table with your shirt off, screaming for Sweden to win. So lucky that they ended up going. I think Sweden lost 3-0 or 3-1 or something, and that was probably a good thing in the end. But but I want to say F England.
Yeah. Can you say it
just
on
politely?
YouTube?
Yeah, you can say F England.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you can say the full word.
Oh, okay.
But F England's all right.
But Australia and Afghanistan are playing now.
Rain delay.
Again.
Australia are 109 for 1 and chasing 273. So interesting to see how that plays out. And I would say, even if this game, if we draw against Afghanistan, we go through.
Okay.
So, but they'll do is it DSL method?
DSLR.
DSL. Exactly. They'll do that anyway. But I think we scored runs. We're 109 from 12 overs, so I would presume that gives us the win in that situation anyway. So we'll see.
Yeah. So as the standings currently are, with 2 games play, because Australia had split the money with South Africa. So South Africa and Australia each on 3 points, but South Africa's run rate is
better.
A lot better. Yep. Australia's not going to be able to take over that.
No.
Afghanistan need to win
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so we're safe. And England's already out before they play South Africa, just to point that out.
But okay, so that means that most likely Australia are going through as the second place team
Yep.
from Group B. And we spoke about this quickly last time. They either will meet New Zealand or India. And they still have to play each other, which will be interesting, I think, for Australia to kind of sit back and look at how that works and how they kind of what kind of team they trot out if they're going to go spin heavy or pace or to try and attack that batting lineup of the other team.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think in that matchup, I don't know. I sort of we said last time that you want to avoid India, but in some way, I just want to take India straight away because you just put India and Travis Head. Travis Head is India's boss, so I think take that on. We're very comfortable playing India now. It feels like we have this psychological win over them already because we've beaten them in these big tournaments recently. So I think we take on India, and then if we lose to little brother in the final, it sucks, but it's, I don't know, better than India. India is closer cousins to England, I guess. I don't know. So
further away geographically, at least.
But you know.
Anything more to add from cricket?
No, I don't think so. It's just going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But hopefully Aussies go through, and we got some more cricket to talk about next week.
Yeah, sounds good. Another quick break. Come back, talk about some NFL.
Yeah.
Kelce commits to the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas Kitty.
Kansas
Chiefs. Keep the k.
Okay, good.
Alliteration.
Yeah, all right.
But there was a lot of talk that he might retire.
Yeah,
he wanted to be like us, full-time podcasting.
That's right. Not everyone can do it. It's a hard job.
Slog.
It's hard to commit to.
Have you listened to their?
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it
as well.
I love it.
So once you finish listening to this and watching it, don't go now, but after, go and check it out if you haven't already watched it. Great stuff. I like the insight, and Jason is pretty funny.
Yeah. Did you see that he has a show now with his wife? They do like a Jay Leno, Conan O'Brien late night, but it's about sport, and it's him and his missus. She sits up in a booth somewhere and does music and is the side sort of gig to his late night sports show.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
is that what we're gonna do?
Yeah, hopefully that's the dream. Always.
Are you my wife out in the?
I can be your work wife. Don't. No, I don't
pushing
know.
The buttons, or am I pushing the buttons and you're the?
Yeah, but no, I'll always get what I want, so it's important. That's why it's important to be the wife. Yeah. So I'm the what's the guy? Yeah. Is there a better word than puppeteer?
Puppet master.
Puppet master. I'll be the puppet master. Anyway, Kelce commits. It did sound like on their show straight after the Super Bowl, you pretty much thought that he was going to retire. Like I watched it, and then you watched all the other like NFL podcasters all talking about the interview that he had, and it sounded more like he was very tired after the season. He didn't it just took more like from him that season. But obviously it was very, very new after a Super Bowl loss and how that must feel. But all the news today coming out now is that he always sort of said that he wanted to make sure that his body was right and that he was going to be 100% committed. Otherwise he wouldn't come back. But he's come out now and said he's going to climb mountains in the off season and go real hard and give it one last go because he said he doesn't want to go out the way that he went out because he played like shit.
No, that's my kind of comment there was watching that Super Bowl. He should retire if that's how he's going to play because it was disgraceful. Some of the screens and blocks that he attempted, I'm not going to say he put on because he didn't put them on. He attempted and they were woeful.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was a big reason to them losing because Philly were just so good.
Yeah.
But I think he was when he's in that kind of mind frame and that, I don't know what you call it, that level of playing. I think Mahomes feels that. He sees it and he's like, I can't count on you, Trav. Like I can't give you the ball, or I can't because you're not there.
Yeah, that's an interesting take, really, because you sort of don't think of it in that way. But he's always been that guy for Mahomes to be able to. He's the go-to when they're in the shit. He knows he gets the catch, or he'll get the block, or whatever he needs from Kelce at a certain time in those critical times in the game, he would get that. And if he's not feeling that, then he takes a different option and avoids Kelce altogether.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what it felt like. But it was like the whole season. I don't think the Super Bowl performance was pretty much his whole year. Like I think he had one massive game where he had like 10 catches and X amount of yards. But the whole season just felt like he was nowhere. He wasn't really there. And I guess that, like, I can agree with him coming back as long as he comes back hard, because if he would have retired then, everybody would have said that he's gone soft since he got with Taylor Swift, like, without sort of jumping on all that. But it's true. Like, there's distractions. He's got his podcast, and that's half the reason why you could think he could retire, because he's sitting on top of the fucking world right now, like, and can do whatever he wants. Like, his brother's got a late night show. He could also be there if he could commit the time. You're with probably the most famous artist in the whole world at the moment. You can do whatever you want. So a great time to go out and explore other opportunities. But as an athlete, I think that must take so much from you when you go, okay, my last season. Not if, like, some people are going to talk about that and go, oh, Kelce was great, but man, he was shit in his last year once he started hooking up with Taylor Swift. And you don't want to go out like that. So I think if he comes out and he's just, even if they don't go to the Super Bowl and win another championship, another ring, if he comes out and has a really big season and he's like making those blocks, taking hits, making catches, pumping up those numbers, I think that's a success to go, wow, that's the real Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
And then go out like that.
Do you know how long he's got left on his contract?
No.
Can you stall while I look it up?
Yeah. What else do you want to talk about? But I'm not a really good staller. But yeah, what do you say when you're supposed to be stalling except talk about not stalling?
Yeah, I don't know. I've always wondered how people do that well with that. You don't even realize that they're stalling, because when you get the question, or you have to stall, all of a sudden your mind goes blank.
Right. You're just like, I don't even know what we were talking about before.
I can't even speak English anymore.
Yeah, what mountain? Who was on a mountain with Travis Kelce and his brother? Was it?
He was on top of the world
and
going to be climbing mountains in the off season.
Right, can you bring this contract up, because it feels like we're babbling a little bit right here. He's made a lot of money.
What does
it
say?
Millions, career earnings.
2026, unrestricted free agent. 2026. So does that mean he's got another year left, or he goes into next season as a free agent? That's a great question.
Yeah.
If any of you out there know, write it in the comments, because I'm probably not going to look any more about this. But
all we saw was that his career earnings are 93 million. Scroll down. 93,943,975 dollars.
Just a couple more bucks than what we have.
You don't get that being a full-time podcaster, do you? You can't even kill some time while you look up contracts.
Could have just said that number, and it would have taken
exactly
just as long.
Would have taken me that long to realize what it was.
All right, but I mean, it's good for Kansas City if they want to try and get back to another Super Bowl with Mahomes. Just the way that they have I mean, there's a lot of money that they're paying Kelce. His yearly contract is 17 and a half. Well, cap hit 2025 was almost 20 million. You know, are they getting another tight end that can perform as well as Kelce can perform for that money?
I think you still have to roll the dice. If he says that he's coming back and he's going to be bigger and stronger and better than ever, you pay.
Are they coming? Are they the Chiefs going to get to another Super Bowl, or is it time for Burrow back? Josh Allen, is he going to get over the?
Like, I've ruled out KC at the start of the last two seasons. Didn't think that they were going to get there last year when they beat San Francisco, just because of their wide receiver core, and then ruled them out this year again, and they just found a way to win. So you're a brave man if you say that they're not going to, but they're not going to. I think they're done. I think it's almost a time for I think Philadelphia are a big chance to go back to back, or they're going to be
Saquons.
Yeah, like they've got it all together, and they've got the players, and they've got the core, and they've got the fan base. It could be time for them to go on a little dynasty of their own.
Well, another short and sharp ep today. Some good topics covered. We'll get
Mm.
back on this train next week.
Yes.
We'll have some NBL, more NBL under the belts.
Mm.
Maybe we have a series winner.
Mm.
We'll definitely know a lot more around the cricket. And we'll have 2 NRL games in the bag as well.
Yeah.
Vegas.
Yeah.
So lots to talk about next week. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram, Twitter,
Mm.
right here.
YouTube.
Now I can point across the whole screen.
Yeah. I'll decide if you weren't dyslexic. Are you
Yeah.
dyslexic if you point the wrong way, or just don't know your lefts and your rights?
Just don't know lefts and rights.
Oh, okay.
Lefts and rights.
Good to
Clock.
know.
I can lefts and rights. Just a mirror image.
Oh, right.
Fun being like this.
Yeah, it was
Time
all right.
goes quick.
Yeah. How long have we been going for?
25 minutes.
Whoa. Time to say goodbye.
Time to say goodbye.